all over the world. In fact, when you talk of countries contributing to the UN, until we started having the internal crisis, we were among the top 3. Yes. So Nigerian armed forces have grown. What we have today is times 20 of what we used to have, both in manpower and equipment. So
are we still is Nigerian military still very, very active in the world scene, just like the way you describe? Yes, we know we don't say good things about ourselves. It's our problem. Every day we are always insulting ourselves. Negative stories about ourselves. But let's not look at what we say about ourselves. Let's look at what is on ground. Is the Nigerian military still very active in the world scene?
Right now, we can't be very active in the world because we have internal challenges. Until we are able to solve our crisis internally, then we have excess resources to concentrate outside. So it's not as much as we used to do as per contributing troops to UN. But here, because here we must take care of our people first. We must make sure we are safe. So until then, I think Nigeria will reduce our participation in such UN operations until we have peace.
Okay, so let's talk about our own internal problem now.
Yeah.
Okay.
Where do you think we got it wrong as a people? And when I say as a people, I'm talking as Nigeria, our police, our military. Did we get it wrong from the point of not investing in our military assets, or we got it wrong in not taking care of our military personnel, or both?
I think something happened along the line. We have always considered that securing the nation is the job of the military and the police. You said something in the beginning, that security belongs to all of us. Now, we are still looking at security in that manner, that the security people are the army, police, air force, we finished there. So for me, I think we need to have a different approach, an all-inclusive approach where everybody is involved. Now, there's that slogan that says, when you see something, say something. I challenge them. I say, when they see something, how do they say that something? To who do they say it to? You must have the people at the grassroots. You must cultivate them to be able to reach you with what is happening. On that interview that day, I said, the guy made the first error. In fact, it shouldn't have happened. It's avoidable. As a former pilot, it's avoidable. Because there should have been people on the ground. But we are walking from top to bottom. If we were walking from bottom
to top,
you have people in that community that will be telling you what is happening there. Don't come here. This gathering is for religion. The bandits are not coming, or they have passed. And even if the bandits were inside the people,
you have to abort.
Professionally, you should not. I have seen that, I've been in that situation before. There will always be a second time. Once there is doubt that civilians could be involved, please go home.
Just like in broadcast, they say when you're in doubt, leave it out.
Don't pass the information if you have no facts.
So if you are not sure of an information, don't leave it, don't give it out, because just like the devastation that the drone bomb caused, a wrong information can cause almost twice that kind of devastation.
Definitely.
It can.
Definitely.
But so now, as it is, we are rounding up right now.
Yeah.
We are rounding up this session now. We would like you to, for anybody, and I want you to be very vivid. very raw about this. No, don't hide anything. For sometime before now, I was in school. Sometimes we have riots, we have protests, which is within our constitutional right as citizens. If we see something we don't like, we can come out and protest. But a protest is different from war.
Definitely.
Now I heard, and I heard, and I pray it's a lie, that some people went to defense ministry to go and say, please, army should take over, and all this kind of skirmish. And sometimes some people kind of dish out money to youths, and this particular advice is for the youths that are thinking, okay, let me join a movement that is pro-war instead of pro-peace. Now, for somebody that have been on the battlefield, I'll continue my question. All but right. before that, one of my guys behind the scenes, when I said he's a war veteran, he's a general, he said, the man go don't buy people.
I'm sorry to cut you short. I think, but before we move to the advice you'd give to the young ones who, would want to be a part of the military.
Not be part of a military. Anybody that is saying, okay, let's go and even scatter the Nigeria self. Let's fight war.
Before we even get there, at least before you can say, oh, I advise you to do this. Is it possible for you to share with us your own regrets, if you have any?
Regrets?
Yes.
Of being a soldier.
Yes. Of all the experiences you've gathered.
That's that if a soldier has to go back
in time,
especially soldiers who had experienced war, it's not every soldier you see that has gone to war. But the ones that have gone to war and come back, they will tell you it's not a sweet experience. It's very bitter. Because you come back and feel you shouldn't have done a lot of things you have done, because that's what you have been tasked to do. That's what you are paid to do. Because war, on both sides, either you start it or the other guy starts it. Once it gets to that point that you are exchanging, you don't know how it will end. War does not end well. It does not end well for any party. Looking at current situation in the world, Hamas and
Israel, Ukraine,
it is even the civilians that are suffering more than the armed forces. But it is the civilians most times that we engineer the armed forces and say, we can do it, let's go and fight them. Yes. Because you guys are in control of the military.
On the streets, they say they zuga them.
So, I will advise that based on what we pass through, obeying the command of the nation, we should not try to take our grievances to that level of fighting. We should try and resolve whatever it is on the table. Alternative dispute resolution, those actions are there, and you will end up in a win-win situation, and you won't have to go to war. That would be my advice, because war is not sweet for anybody.
Okay, so like I was saying, my question now, your advice for anybody that is looking at make we scatter the country self. What this country is, let's fight war. No be war. So
it's not
being
just war.
Somebody that have been on the battlefield, and I remember when I came to your office, you showed me a picture, and there was a story behind that picture.
Yes.
So I want you to maybe that story, maybe another one, to use it to advise, especially young people.
That story is good enough, only that we don't have the picture here.
No, I'm going to get the picture. Don't worry, I'm going to get a screenshot of it.
That story was a picture. It's the story behind the picture. The picture had about 6 pilots who were approaching their aircraft to go and load. But the scene around that place, the picture was taken in Liberia, specifically at the Robert International Airport. And if you look at the scene, behind the pilots was a structure. That structure is demolished. And that structure used to be Liberia International Airport. Now, that airport was attacked by those same pilots who now snapped that picture in 97. That picture was 97. But that attack was in 91. In 91, those same pilots came from Sierra Leone while the war in Liberia was ongoing and attacked the airport because Chaselo and his rebels were occupying the place. The war in Liberia ended, and then the war in Sierra Leone started. So while the war in Sierra Leone was ongoing, the same pilot now need to go and fight in Sierra Leone, but they can't stay in Sierra Leone. So they were located in Liberia to be taken off to go and fight in Sierra Leone. And where did the authority keep these people? That same airport that they attacked in 1991 became now their residence. And what happened to the community around? When we first landed for like 2 weeks, the community they were not ready to accept us. They were not ready to say anything to us because they consider us as enemies. We were their enemies according to them in 91.
Wow.
Now we are coming to live within them in 97. How do they get over it? Yes, finally they got over it and they accepted us because we are no longer fighting in their country. We are fighting in the other country. So things like that are what we should look back because...
And saying we should look back,
yes.
I don't know if you're comfortable talking about the Biafran War.
Biafran War. The wounds of Biafran War is not totally healed. Yeah, underground. And it is still why IPOB is going around unknown government. It's still the same story. So, on the surface, it's over. But we must still continue the healing process that we get everybody back and say, no, that was no victor.
No victor, no vanquish.
So there's no need to do what we are doing. Because if it really starts, everybody will suffer it.
So now,
Yeah.
as a war veteran,
Yeah.
what do you think the approach should be in trying to the healing process
Yes.
then is different from what the healing process
Right now.
will be right now because things have evolved, times have changed.
Yes.
What are those things that you think should be brought on board now to continue and deepen the healing process of the Biafran War? Okay. And if you have any experiences.
Yes, I had one experience and I think it's good to share because we didn't achieve it. The healing process is not just the military, it's the whole nation. It must start where we chose one approach last year. We had the Green Heroes Foundation and the Nigerian Legion. We had an award ceremony. And our plan was that the people that fought the war, the civil war, both on the Nigerian side and the Biafran side, would bring them together. And they were supposed to be like 2020.
Okay.
And they were to come on stage for Nigerians to see. And we'll tell them that last year was 55 years the civil war started. And I say 55 years ago, these two brothers were killing themselves.
We're against each other.
They were enemies. But today, the two brothers are facing each other as brothers now.
Shaking hands and hugging.
And now we tell them to shake their hands, hug themselves, go around the hall. And we still did the award, but this aspect we were not able to achieve.
Why? Because
the Nigerian side were there. But the Once we called for the Biafran side, we didn't get, we just had about 2 or 3 General Biako. General Biako was in the Biafran war. He was fighting on the side of Biafra. But what happened as part of the reconciliation, after the war, he came to Nigeria and joined the army in Nigeria and rose to become a lieutenant general. So we gave him a special honor for that. Air Vice Marshal Ekeze was also on the Biafran side. They fought the Biafran war and they came back to Nigeria and
Became a
became Air Vice Marshal. In fact, Oga Ekeze was a presidential pilot.
Wow.
So those are the little things we can do to continuously heal the process. There were Nigerian trained officers who during the war had to go and fight in Biafra. But they came back and they continued their life. So it's not left to the military alone. Whatever opportunity the nation as a whole has, we must continue to heal the nation. It's still healing. We have not completely, if we had completely forgotten the Biafra, there would be no IPO. Yes, there will be no unknown government. So we still need to do more.
Okay, so
All right, thank you.
let's kind of wrap it up at this point. Now, in wrapping it up, General, I would like to know what is that most gory story as a retired armed force person. What is that gory story?
A story you can never forget.
You can never forget. Remember, you told me one about your friend.
Apparently, he's told you a lot of stories.
No, if you are talking about the friend that was a friend, became an opponent, and
yes,
enemy,
that's
and
it.
later became a friend.
Yes.
That's not gory. That is happy ending. But if I want to tell you about a gory story, which I said haunted me in the night, let me make it. There was a river, and the rebels were to cross. And they said, go there, make sure these rebels don't cross this river. And I took off as instructed. Go there, you must first identify the target. You must first see what you are going to attack. You don't attack blindly. And I saw these guys, they were over 200.
Wow.
And when I saw they were there, pull up and reposition for the real attack. And I came in, carrying 2 beluga bombs, and I dropped the bombs.
Sorry, 2 what?
They are called beluga bombs.
Beluga bombs.
Wow. Okay.
So, when I drop the bombs, normally you pull up because the bomb was dropped at low level. So pull up for battle damage assessment to see what you have done, whether you have succeeded or you failed. If you fail, you know that you have to come back. If you have succeeded, you are happy, you go back. Now, when I pulled up and look at that place at the riverbank where those guys were, the only thing that was moving were 2 parachutes. Because that weapon, I dropped the 2 of them. The weapons always carry, each of them carry parachutes. Those parachutes are to slow down the weapon so that the aircraft will pass before explosion. So those were the only 2 things that were just flying, waving.
Everything was wiped out.
I know what I saw before I dropped those weapons. And what am I seeing now? Seeing. From that book, there's a movie that is coming out of it.
Okay.
Yes, because
When is this coming out?
this particular scene is going to be in the movie because at that point the pilot became emotional because he couldn't bear that I have done this. Now, people are standing, they are there waiting to cross, and they are no longer there because of you pulled the trigger. So those are the kind of things that haunt soldiers forever. They don't ever forget it. They can suppress it. And it's not only me. So many soldiers are walking around with such things.
As a burden on their shoulder
Yeah, burden they carry forever. They carry.
on our behalf.
Yes. If you read that book very well, you will see when I wrote about the effects of war on soldiers, their family, and eventually the society, if we are not careful. The film Sylvester, no, what's that film? First Blood.
That's Rambo, yes.
Rambo.
First blood.
Typical replica of what could happen in any society that have war veterans. Rambo was in the Vietnam before the Vietnam War. He came back, he became depressed, isolated himself
In the bush, in the
bush,
forests, actually.
in the forest. Then one day he decided, let me come to town and come and see fine chick like this.
Really, stop it.
He got arrested by the police. They say he's unkept, wishy here, everything, and took him to the police station. What are you doing in this our environment? And at the point they shave his head. As they shave his head, he snapped back to his wartime and destroy everybody.
And because I saw that movie,
Yeah.
I always remember that saying. So his commander went to the, what's he called, maybe like the policeman, and was telling the policeman that this man that you people have arrested, release him. He is a war veteran. You people cannot handle. He said only one man. I have over 200. I have over 200 people. Then the commander now looked at him. That's Rambo's commander looked at the policeman and said, as you are going to catch him, please be sure to go along with a lot of body bags. I always remember that part.
So
Body go surplus. That's it. Sorry, before we bring this to a close, we talked about PTSD, and that is, post-traumatic stress disorder. It's one thing that our military veterans who go to war actually experience.
Yeah.
If you were to give just one or two insights to how, for every injury you have, there's always a first aid treatment before you get the major treatment. So if you were to give the first aid treatment to PTSD, at least before they get to a final point of getting proper treatment, what exactly would it be?
the first aid treatment is counseling.
Okay.
It's counseling. You must retool their mind. You must retool their psyche that they are no longer at war. They are back home. If not, they will be having that flashback to the war front. Whatever was happening in the war front, they want to replicate it. So psychological counseling is the first thing.
Okay.
To say, take your mind off. Yeah, there are psychologists. We have some who will try and bring them home and tell them, no more war. Now you are at home, you are at peace. So we must first do that. It is during that period of counseling that the psychologists will now determine the level of psychological trauma that soldier has and know what kind of treatment to prescribe. In fact, for some of them, they will be on medication for the rest of their life.
Wow.
Yes.
Anyway,
Thank you very much.
thank
for
you
that.
very much. Wow, this has been an eye-opener. I have one very last funny question that I'm going to ask you, but before I ask that question, please, Jenna, where can people get this book from? Is it on Amazon?
It's on Amazon and
Okay.
it's available in Abuja here.
It's available in Abuja. So we're going to drop a link to the Amazon website where you can get the online version of it. And the hard copy, where can they get the hard copy?
It's available in Zone 3.
Is not okay. So I'm going to
Where the greenhouse is.
Yes. So the headquarters of Green Heroes
Green Heroes.
Foundation. We're going to drop the address, on the screen. So you can go there, get the hard copy, and we are going to drop the link to where you can get the Amazon, the soft copy online. And please, Sheon, let's use this opportunity to please speak to the people that are in charge of post-war veterans. This man is doing a yeoman's job, and personally, I have met some of the war veterans in his care, and they are doing very, very well. They are mixing up with the society very, very well, thanks to him and his foundation. So please, small things like this, make sure they support them now. Be, let's support the people that are supporting us. You get, yeah. So so it's easy for us to talk about whiskey, talk about Davido, talk about Seaman, talk about Sisa Toshola, talk about all these guys, but talk about Sheun.
Wow, really, seriously. I think that the reason why most times we feel like you said at the beginning, and he also reiterated, the reason why we don't really want to talk about military men is because we believe that they are the ones who are meant to protect us. That's their job, and not the job of everybody.
Why won't you talk to? So because you are protecting me means I can't talk to you. But again, that seriously.
He said something about how some military men, after post-war, they, because of their traumas and everything, they become rational in behavior and even beat up the civilians. So they've made us civilians feel like they should be feared and not even cared for. Do you really get what I'm saying?
So they were not born like that.
True.
And they were part of this society before they became soldiers. Were they like that when they were civilian? So we need to find out why. Why did they suddenly go to the army and come back and become bullies? They were not bullies when they were going. So it is the effect of what you have ordered them to do. They will obey you because they are serving the nation. So that is their own gain for serving.
That's their gain for serving.
Yes.
And it's also a burden for serving.
It's the pain that becomes their gain, but we don't know.
Yeah. So, Sheun, it takes me to the proverb. Person we marry woman with hunchback. Now you know they take run am for night.
And that brings us to the end of this episode of Middle Ground podcast. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Commodore Abayomi.
Thank you very much. But my own is this. This is why I fear soldiers, and it's because they don't let people wear khaki. I have seen where a soldier beating somebody that is putting on camouflage. Because of that, in my life, I would never try it again.
I told you about the camouflage. It's the only reason if you go to America, you can wear your camouflage. Why? Because the civilian that will buy camouflage will not use it to go and rob.
Sure.
But Nigerian civilians will take camouflage and enter the street and claim to be soldiers.
Sure.
So they abuse the privilege. And if you are not careful, if you allow it, you have a battalion of people claiming to be soldiers.
True. Very true.
People like Ekemini. Okay, thank you very much. Thank you very much. We really appreciate it.
Lady and gentlemen, I didn't know this was going to be this big. Very nice. I'm not fully prepared, but I will reach out to him and he will get to you. In fact, I will invite you people.
Thank you very much.
No problem. Thank you, sir. We do appreciate it. Thank you. And that's it, Rob. And thank you very much for watching this episode of Middle Ground Podcast. If you really love to assist, which you should, look down below and you'll find the details of the Green Heroes Foundation. And, it is a means for you and for us all to support our war veterans.
Yeah.
They've done a lot for Nigeria, trust me.
And you and me.
Yes. We are Nigerians.
Go walk. Say you go come again.
And then, with everything that they have to deal with, all the experiences, yes, we know they're taking orders from above, but at the end of the day, they're taking these orders to protect you, myself, and the likes of ourselves.
Yeah.
But then, do make sure you support.
Yeah, so please support them. Reach out to them. They will tell you the different ways in which you can support their cause.
And also, if you are unable to reach out to them, you can leave a comment in the comment section. We'll make sure to get back to it.
Yeah, and please, while you're at it, do not forget to subscribe.
Like,
You've not subscribed.
share. Just like and share. It's not hard. It's not
We're
hard.
out.
Enjoy.